recording. Daniel.
Oh, that one's cute.
What?
I'm looking at a bunch of beads to make a bracelet
I see.
as a gift. And I found this really cool Etsy shop that has like a bunch of like dragon heads and wolves and whatever. And one of the wolf heads looks like a baby pug looking. It's all smashed face and I don't think it's intentional, but it's adorable.
Alright. Alright, is everyone ready to play?
Yeah.
Dude.
Alright. Dane, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So last we left off, it has been some time. Can any of you remind me what the fuck we were doing?
We were
We were
heading...
going to Araj, right?
Yeah, we're heading to Araj. We were going to meet our friend Mr. DeVir. And he was going to tell us how to banish 12 demons at once.
Yes.
Uh,
I believe his actual name is... DeVir Vizeran, I believe.
Vizeran DeVir. DeVir's the last name. I know. I think so,
Is
right?
DeVir the last name?
I think
His
so.
surname.
Vizeran DeVir is what what I have.
Yeah, Vizeran DeVir.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Either way, yeah, you're heading to Araj. You've already done all your shopping. You already left Blington Stone. So, just for the sake of it, it's gonna take you 10 days to get there. Is there anything you want to do in that 10-day period?
I want to raise morale by having my new cat familiar exist.
Okay. Do you do
Spooky
anything in
kitty.
particular about your cat?
I just kind of throw it out of my tent at night and let it until it wander around, make people feel good, and then I assume it just wanders around and just like, meows at people.
Yeah. I kind of want to do like an insight with disadvantage check.
All right, is that coming from my character
Yeah.
sheet or the cat?
Yeah, it is. No, it's coming from you.
Okay. All right. Insight. I have relatively okay wisdom, but that's a big 6.
Okay. Who here has a substantial bonus to insight?
The druid.
Keyleth does.
Keyleth, what's
Frankie.
Frankie and Keyleth, what's your insight?
Plus 5.
Me too.
Oh, I know. I already know your insight's good. Frankie, what's yours?
9.
Okay. Frankie, Keyleth, Rogi, roll an insight check for me.
Keep looking the big one. Oh, bigger.
Okay, so Keyleth and Frankie, you kind of realize. Rogi, I'll say you vaguely realize this, but you're kind of doing your own thing. Keyleth and Frankie, you realize people in the camp are very suspicious of this fucking cat.
It's too obviously a familiar.
It's too obviously familiar. They know Gundra. They think it's Gundra's trying to spy on them.
I have been nothing but kind, but also uncaring to these people.
Right, so now it just feels like Gundra has sent out a sentry to spy on all of them.
So the picture I had of it, like the visual picture I had of it, is just a cat wandering around and like doing
Right.
normal cat things. But now it's a
Sure.
cat that turns and you can just see the glowing in its eyes and it's just staring people
Yeah.
down.
It's at least the people, like, it gets, like, to a group of people and everyone just kind of stops talking for a bit.
Keyleth's gonna go over, pick
It
this cat
changes-
up by the scruff of its neck, and throw it back into Gundra's tent.
Okay, every time.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point, just to make a whole assertion there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just very clearly, like, everyone gets really nervous when this cat walks up, because it's like, oh no, boss is watching. But also, the drow boss who would probably kill me.
It's surprising I've gotten that reputation. I thank my culture for bringing my cred up so high.
It's not that. I mean, they've also seen you absolutely slay.
That's true. They don't know that I have weird hang-ups.
Yeah, it's also, besides that, you're a very talented wizard.
Hmm.
You have also, like you said, you've done nice things like, create a comfortable atmosphere with your spells.
I've been a very rude doctor to them, which
But
is
you've been a very
medium.
rude doctor.
Which
You've
is like
not been
a middle
pleasant.
ground, sort of like,
Right. You
hey,
haven't been pleasant to them necessarily.
yeah,
Like, Keyleth, they don't like, but they respect as a commander, but they're not having drinks with him.
Hold up. Let me make something clear. Keyleth's not having drinks with them.
Oh, okay, sure. Whatever floats your boat, alright? Frankie is probably a guy that they actually like and respect a lot. They
yeah,
think Rogi's weird.
yeah. I think the
And
word,
Fodane is just kind of there. He's like, hey, you
I-
want some spell work done?
Yeah.
He's the mysterious wizard in the background.
Yeah, but he's like more approachable than the one that are like, that guy kind of yells at us sometimes.
I yell at them for getting sepsis.
Right. No, it's always something pretty okay, but like, some of them are not clever enough to figure that part out.
Yeah,
They only don't like Fodane because he keeps a skeleton around at all times.
yeah. I feel like the
We
worst.
will kill anyone that says something bad about Rogi.
I mean, people are weirded out by Rogi and don't want to hang out with him typically.
Well, I'll hang out with him then.
Yeah, you typically do, I think.
Yeah, and admittedly, I think over the long time we just hung out, I do hang out with Rogi sometimes. It is in a hey, don't talk to me, I'm just sitting next to you sort of capacity
You're right.
a lot of the time.
No, I feel like your whole
Don't lie, it's a guilty pleasure for you.
Sure. I also Gundra also as a peer really likes Thodane. Like
Yeah. No, you guys do work well together. I think as a general party, over this course of this year and a half or something, you've been traveling together. You have definitely formed, like, calling it a familial bond isn't quite right. You all don't necessarily like each other.
we understand our
But
roles within the group.
You understand your roles and you work well together.
We also understand that we both have a pact to become liches and take over the world, so.
What?
Is that a thing? Okay.
I'm
That's
not
a new thing to me.
Oh, I thought that just went without saying.
Yeah, I like if anything, I'm doing some weird illusion sort of sideline job like that where I fall asleep forever and then my mind becomes an infinite real illusion parallel
I'll kill the
dimension.
dragon by myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't worry, you do that, and while your sleeping body lies there, Thodane will be a lich to guard it.
Very interesting setup. We'll see how that goes.
A very handsome undead dwarf.
Mhm.
Oh, handsome! You'll be rotting.
Well,
Eventually he'll be a skeleton, and there's a beauty
Eventually.
in that sort of like.
No, I
You know
agree,
what?
but there's a
You know
long
what?
period of time there where he's just rotting.
Soralis was rotting too, and look at how pretty she was.
She wasn't. That was one of her biggest detriments.
He wasn't rotting?
Gorgeous.
She was. No, she looked like she had already been rotting.
She has feelings too.
Anyways, eventually, you all kind of approach a narrow passageway based on the map that you were kind of given by Vizeran. The passage behind, you kind of get further until you notice there's a certain point where this is it. The passage behind this secret door is narrow enough that you all need to move in through it single file, occasionally turning sideways to squeeze. It takes about an hour to navigate its pitch black darkness, and the journey is filled with a constant echo of distant sounds. The passage then widens, opening out into a cavern whose far walls and ceilings are out of sight in the darkness. Bits of quartz and mica in the stone glimmer as they catch the light, showing a footpath worn into the stone floor. At the end of the path, a vast dark shape rises, an enormous stalagmite carved into a bleak black tower. Give me a second, I have art.
Good.
Woo, woo. You've had a second.
I provided it. Also, did I give you guys? I think this is another picture of it too. I don't know if I showed that one.
Oh, this is a good one. I don't know who these fuckers are, but
I don't know. So, unfortunately, I think with the single file nature, you would have to leave your giant lizards behind,
yeah, I think we have a
and
very
probably a
small.
few
Yeah,
people.
yeah, I think we have a small sort of like camp out there, probably.
Okay. We'll just say the lizards are over here. If you're looking at the main landing page.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and my big robot. That wizard gave him to me.
Yeah, big robot's gonna have to stay in for. Oh, that's Frankie.
That's Franklin.
That is Franklin, my favorite turtle.
It's actually
I-
Francis.
Phrases. So they'll all be over there. Who do you want to leave with them?
Uh,
Stay with them. I could probably fend off a lot of things, and I could stay invisible if you need.
sure, but at the same
Are
time, we're
you
going
sure
to a
you don't
wizard's
want to be
tower.
a part of? Yeah, this is probably a big
Oh.
story beat.
Right.
I
No,
think
we
the
go to the wizard's tower.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the I forget the name, the black market people, the thugs.
Oh, the thugs. Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
Zentarum guys.
Yeah, they're gonna have trouble getting through the thing as much as they are.
We'll say what, 4? Do you think 4 of them are good enough?
Yeah, and then like maybe like a handful of the gnomes, just as like because they're good at hiding and looking out.
Oh yeah. We'll say what? 6 gnomes? 5 gnomes?
6 gnomes is good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just put them in this cluster over here. We'll just say like, yeah, that's the new thing now. They're over there by themselves.
Okay. So, do we want our groups to just scout out and make sure we're not being betrayed for whatever reason? I don't think DeVir would do that, given our last couple of talks, but still.
How would we check now?
Just see if there's somebody hiding. And I mean, this is a big cave.
You see, it is a big cave, like a big cave, but it's mainly that you can't just inherently from the entrance see the edges of the walls and the ceiling. Then again, like you are in darkness.
Mm-hmm. Even the 120 dark vision isn't seeing anything, so it's like,
Not quite.
yeah. Maybe like just a little bit of something off in the
Like
distance.
you're
And
definitely
that's
getting
it.
things that are glinting off walls. You can tell
Yeah.
it's big, but it's not massive. Like he picked a prime
Yeah,
location to
it's a
hold
hidey
up
hole. Yeah.
It's a hidey hole. But it's a hidey hole big enough for a building.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Just, I guess I just turn and say, well, we're not all going to fit in the tower, and it's probably best most of you stay outside. Keep wary. That's about it.
Okay. So is the main party approaching?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arise. Tower, arise.
I summon you, tower.
I summon you, Shenron. Grant my wish.
Shenron, grant my wish. I wish Goku was in Fortnite.
Your wish is granted. Anyways.
Goku, hit the gritty.
Anyways, you walk up to the tower and you see a heavy iron door before you.
I turned to just like let anybody else do it. No? Nobody wants to?
Do you wish for me to open the door?
is going to be a whole big thing. Just slam on it twice.
Okay. On its own, you can tell it just opens up. And past the heavy iron door that is the tower's only visible entrance, a short tunnel extends through 5 feet of solid rock into a cool and dark chamber. As you enter, a floating orb of pale violet light brightens before you, revealing an opening in the vaulted ceiling and a spiral stone staircase with no railing, climbing up into darkness. Around the stairs, the light reveals a circular audience chamber with cold, unlit lanterns hanging from the brackets set into the stone wall, heavy carpets covering the smooth stone floor, and a throne-like stone chair on a raised dais to the left of the entrance. The ball of violet floats to a stop beneath the center of the opening shaft, beyond the foot of the stairs. It then hovers there, as if waiting for you.
Whew.
Sandra, what is this thing? Do we follow it?
That's just a light and possibly something that'll guide us through. But
Most of times I find
Pete,
lights
real quick.
usually lead to large jaws.
most of the time?
You follow floating lights, they usually lead to large jaws.
No wonder you left the surface. It's fine. The only thing that's giving me bad vibes here is, I don't know. Look at these carpets. Did these go out of style? They're just old. Anyways, feel free to look around. He'll probably get mad at you for doing so. Meet me upstairs whenever you have the time. And I'm gonna very slowly ascend the staircase when Daniel gets back.
Let's go.
Uh,
What you doing?
I told them that it's probably fine, that the carpets feel like a very old style, and I told them, feel free to look around. You'll probably make the wizard mad. But then I started ascending the staircase.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of you go up a few levels, the light kind of in the center of the staircase guiding you up another like floor by floor. You see it on the second floor. It seems mainly like kitchens and storage and sorry, I had to burp. And maybe like disused servants' quarters.
Mm-hmm.
On the third and fourth floors, they're specially blocked by like a wall and a door. So you can't really see into it.
While I'm still alone and just kind of very slowly doing this,
Are you the only one walking up? Is everyone staying below?
Depends on how closely they're following me, and I'm giving them a lot of time to follow me, because I'm also going to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Oh, I mean, easy enough.
Uh-huh.
Everything here is magic.
Yeah, I had that feeling.
Yeah, this whole place was built by magic. Everything, the light is magic.
Even the walls feel like they have some residual, probably
some
transmutation.
Yeah, there's some residual transmutation in there.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm mostly getting it on just to like kind of get a vague sense of how everything works.
Clearly, Vizeran didn't build all of this.
Who would?
Right. But how far back is everyone from Gundra?
How quickly did he move?
Very slowly.
I would say it'd be up to you how far behind you are.
In fact, you could probably get annoyed that I'm being so slow if you really wanted to. He's kind of being a tourist right now.
Rogi knows that this is not his place of interest, so he's staying back, and he's definitely letting the others lead. but he's making sure that he brings up the rear.
Okay. It's funny with as you bring up the rear, anytime you kind of stop too long, that light kind of drifts down to you expectantly.
He was comparing it to a fish's lure, a deep sea fish's lure earlier. So
Yeah, Rogi does not like the light.
Well,
Anytime it gets close, he will try to cast Druidcraft to gently make a breeze to make it go away.
yeah, the breeze has no effect on the thing.
I like to imagine it just like stays stationary, but there's like a little bit of a visual effect going around it.
Yeah, it just kind of it waits for you to get like to continue.
Yeah. If there's anybody directly behind Gundra, you can just hear him. He'll just like toss back a little bit, just like, "Hey, check out how thin these steps are." He's really pulling it close. It's a good thing none of us are over 600 pounds or whatever. Just making little comments like that are barely informed,
Right.
but he's being critical of everything that's around us.
Yeah, at some point you notice the light kind of gets too dark because I don't think Rogi is continuing.
Uh-huh.
So you just at a certain point you're like, I can't. This it's clearly too dark up here. Where's that light?
Mm-hmm.
Did we? Okay, so we're in magical darkness then.
No, I'm just saying you notice very actively the absence of light.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we're getting outlines of shapes instead of
Yeah.
shapes.
Yeah, you're not seeing the color to them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Which is mostly fine, but I think going up a railless staircase might give a little bit of pause for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Rogi,
You could
bring the light up.
I would say Rogi, or not Rogi, Gundra and Thodane, you could probably tell this is a very subtle way, a very automatic way to say, yeah, I don't want any of you guys to run around my wizard's tower on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys wouldn't do that. Especially with some strangers you just happened to meet.
Hmm.
Well, not unless you were planning on killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rogi, do you continue forward?
Once everyone else has, yep.
Okay, so you're just tagging behind.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, eventually you guys get to the 5th floor, which is more open, as it kind of contains like a... Is it the 5th floor he's going for? I forget now. Hold on.
Foolish. You don't even memorize all floors.
It's so much. Oh yeah, this scene here seems to be like a nice study of some kind. You know, it's
Ooh.
lined with books, shelves, and like a good like couches, fire pit kind of thing in the center.
Wordlessly signal to Thodane. Just like, study. Wizard tower. Good.
Good.
Remembered.
But there you see
Pocket
Vizeran
as many
DeVir.
things as you can.
Vizeran DeVir stands there before you, kind
Oh.
of waves you all in.
Oh, he's in the
Please.
study. Perfect. Feel free to snoop.
I said that in my mind.
I
Good.
know. Either way, it wouldn't matter. He waves you all in. Says, come in. I'm glad you've come sooner than expected.
We found some way of shortening our path. Very,
Very good.
very impressive tower you have here.
Thank you. It took a lot of work.
Mm.
A lot of work, but it was worth it. Come, sit down. Make yourselves as comfortable as you can be.
Daniel, still have detect magic on, probably, unless it took longer than 10 minutes somehow.
Okay.
you don't have to go any more specific than like the descriptions I'm gonna give you right now. But is he Christmas tree or is he like glowing like a miniature reactor right now with magical energy?
Holy shit, let me look at his character sheet real quick just to be sure. I think I know the answer, but I could be horribly wrong.
It could be like just like a ring, maybe a belt and his staff, or it could be fucking head to toe. Cannot see him properly at the moment.
Right. I will say he's not lit up like a, he's lit up more like a Christmas tree, not like a reactor.
Okay, that's fine.
Probably not great to keep staring at, but fuck it.
I'm staring at him so normally. Let me remind myself of my passive deception. +0, epic. He probably notices I'm eyeing like a piece of jewelry of his.
Right. But he invites you all in, says, yes, get as comfortable as you could be. Kind of claps his hand once, and you see hovering trays of dried mushrooms, smoked rothe meat, and goblets of spicy liquor. And at one point, even the drow mage kind of sits down himself, reaches his hand out where the tray floats to him. He grabs one of those spicy liquors, looks at all of you, and takes a drink of it. Makes it a very clear point of drinking first.
Yeah, I think
Can
go ahead.
Can I, as a show of respect, discreetly... Well, wait. Can the poisoner's kit detect poison?
I think if you're proficient in it, you're better at detecting poison, I think.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, you're better at detecting poisons.
I can pull it up on website.
Yeah, go ahead and do that real quick.
But do I have to be proficient?
Do you just have a poisoner's kit, or are you?
Yeah, I have a poisoner's kit.
But you're not proficient in it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Neat. Yeah. Right. Your knowledge of poisons also helps you treat them. Activity: spot a poisonous object is a DC 10 with this
Is
kit.
that if they're proficient with the kit, or if they have?
This is under the item description as separate from
okay, then yeah.
as separate from skill checks under the same
Right.
thing. You can also determine the effects of a poison if you use it. You might have to
Right.
be proficient to use it. I don't know. Genuinely.
I will say, either way, to use that kind of thing, you would have to actively pull out that poisoner's kit, pour in the liquor, do some shit, and then get a result.
I guess that does bring up a question of how much effort is respect and how much of it is wasting time.
Right.
Yeah, never mind.
So, at the very least, like I said, he makes a point. He keeps drinking it too. It's not like he took one sip and was done.
Gundra wants his head clear, and he doesn't normally eat a lot, so he's just going
Right.
to find a seat.
Right. Like I said, there's also dried mushrooms and
Nah,
smoked.
Keely's just
rothe
gonna
meat.
drink.
You're just gonna take the liquor and drink. Yeah.
Yep.
They have smoked rothe meat, which I want to point out to you underdark people have probably not had in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Scarf that on down. Deal with the stomach sickness later.
Mm-hmm.
does it cause stomach sickness?
Well, I'm assuming that not having red meat in a long time and then immediately going to
I can personally
Eating a-
attest that happens a lot.
I
full
can't
cooked steak
imagine.
is going to give you the
So
give you the stomach
shits.
rebellion.
The stomach rebellion. Eventually, after everything's kind of settled down, Vizeran DeVir speaks, goblet in hand. The only one of my kind who could ever match me in the art is Grumpf Baenre. I think we knew from the moment we met that we were destined to be rivals. But where I sought only to master the art, Grumpf was also an astute political manipulator. No more devout than I in service of this Spider Queen. He arranged for my disgrace and exile. Deprived of my considerable skills, my house fell to our rival, House Doerden.
Mm.
Grolf became the Archmage of Menzel Berensend under the auspices of his own house, the first house of the ruling council. Grolf and I had only ever had two things in common: our passion for the art and our hatred of the manner in which our fellow mages suffer the hands of the matron mothers and mistresses of the drow. Grolf has always hungered for power, and not even becoming Archmage of Menzo Berensson was enough to satisfy him.
I do take that drink now.
From this tower of exile, I kept watch on Grolf's activities. This was no easy task, given his suspicious and circumspect nature. Nonetheless, my observations revealed that he was crafting a unique ritual. One that somehow drew on the energy of the phase res to channel incalculable arcane power. When Gromp performed this ritual, the walls between the planes shuddered. Then, as you have by now realized, the demon lords were wrenched from their layers of the abyss and cast about here in the Underdark. What we all witnessed in Graven Hollow confirms this. Any questions? Or, at the very least, talk amongst yourselves and then ask me questions. And you can tell, like, based on the seating situation, like, the couches and whatnot that ring around this central fireplace and whatnot is like a half circle, and you're all on one half. He is clearly at, like, some sort of desk where he had just turned the chair around. He is a decent ways away. Like, if you keep your voice low, he's probably not gonna hear you.
Kind of lean over to Keeluth, who I've been personally picturing kind of being a little bit away from Gundra and just being like, he made this political so quickly. I should have expected it, but my god.
Keith just like smirks and nods.
So, is there anything the rest of you will need to discuss about this? It's a pretty basic history lesson.
I don't understand it, and I'm not going to.
That's fine. He's a little mad at the religion of our people, and Gromf made a huge mistake.
Okay.
Alright.
I think we were already aware of his Gromp's mistake,
we
right?
we were already aware. We saw it he saw it personally. Yeah, none of that was new to us, aside from, you know what really sucks? Women.
Specifically, that spider bitch.
I'm a devout atheist, and I hate women.
But feel free to ask him questions, you know.
When was the last time you've been with a woman? No.
Oh. I do not wish to answer.
Uh,
What an uncouth question.
maybe
I am
this.
but a mere warrior.
I do apologize. The flavor is very interesting, but what is your proposed solution going to look like? Just a mass banishment?
You're going straight into the plan.
Well, yes. I want to solve this problem before it becomes, well, more of a problem.
Very well. So, is that to say you are open to working with me?
You seem to understand this a few degrees more than we do. At least, as far as you've told us or implied.
It's true. And I've chosen you all because I think you understand the problem at hand and have the ability to actually rectify it. That being said, if you are not such people and I give you the plan I'm about to state, well, that's foolish and puts me in a great deal of risk. I need to know that you are truly concerned with stopping this threat, no matter the cost.
Gundra, just kind of shakes his head come on. Like, he feels being here is enough of a commitment.
And why is that? Do you have anyone else in mind that's going to help you?
Regrettably, I do not.
Then I feel no need to prove myself to you, as you have one option. For assistance, that is, unless you want to do your plan entirely alone.
Kind of chuckles to himself, stands up, and walks to a chest in the middle of the room. He then pulls out a drow piwafi
Ooh!
and hands it to everybody.
One for each, or?
One for each.
Poggers! Poggers!
So this is a drow piwafi. It grants you wisdom on perception checks. It's perception checks made to see you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on stealth checks.
Double checking, make sure these aren't cursed. Again, I don't think he'd do that at this point, but also making sure.
How are you making sure?
Detect magic again.
Yeah, they're not. Can that do that? Can it tell? If
It
it's
can
cursed?
tell me if there is a magic type that isn't what I'm expecting, which
No,
is
yeah, you're fine.
yeah, it's a very basic low level sort of like, hey, any sniff of an issue here, and if there isn't, I'll just trust it.
He also pulls out an amulet with a one-time use, similar to a scroll of protection against fiends, that he gives to each character.
We each have one?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gavin, are you okay writing this in twice for Rio?
He can write it in himself.
Oh, yeah, Rio. Yeah, no, sorry, that was my bad.
No worries.
Piwafwi.
He then, after he's done handing all this stuff out, Vizeran offers. He then says, furthermore, besides these tools, which will no doubt help you, I will allow you the use of Araj. It's a safe haven here in the Underdark. As long as this alliance between us lasts. I won't have an army being housed here, but you and close allies may use it as you wish.
Thank you. It has been some time since we received any hospitality.
He kind of just nods at that. Now,
Well, man, to another.
quite. He then walks back to his original place, farther away from you guys. And then kind of goes quiet for a moment. So, the plan. Gavin, I'm coming through your mic a little bit
Thank you.
as we continue. Demons are creatures ruled by madness and hatred, even the greatest and most powerful of them. They war ceaselessly upon each other in the abyss, and have already begun to do so here. We can play them against each other, and then deal with the weakened victor. I believe I have the ability to devise and cast a ritual similar to Grom's, but nowhere near as dangerous or foolish. And it will draw the most powerful demon lords together to the site of the original summoning. Once they are brought together, they will try to destroy each other. But though the demon lords might destroy each other's physical manifestations here in our world, their essence cannot be extinguished. They will thus be cast back into the abyss, as effectively as if they had been banished. The ritual needs certain components to produce the talisman that will draw the demons, then a rite to empower and activate it. Then, blood and battle such as this world has never seen. Any survivors among the demon lords will be sorely weakened and should be far easier to destroy. All I need are the necessary ingredients, Vizeran says. And ideally, a look at Grump's grimoires and notes from his sanctum. Where the drow archmage watches you, a thin smile curls to one corner of his mouth.
Keyleth immediately knows that seeing Grump's notes are not necessary.
That's how you feel. He kind of now spreads his arms as if to say, any questions?
So, what are the ingredients specifically?
Clever Gundra. Glad you asked. The talisman itself is a powerful part of the ritual I call the Dark Heart. And the talisman creation requires an intact and unhatched egg of a purple worm for channeling great physical power. The central eye of a beholder to break down magical resistance and overcome magical forces. 6 feathers from 6 different angels, the authority of the celestial realms, and a force to enrage the fiendish creatures. The heart of a Goristro, to reach and influence the hearts of other demons. Even further, 13 tin masks mushrooms, also known as devil's mushrooms, sprouted from the footprints of a Merilith, a Balar, or a Goristro, to lure and draw demons in. I will also need a few, drops of blood, ichor, or a body part to connect of a demon lord to connect with the demons that will be called from this ritual. I will also need Gromf Bayanray's grimoire and notes on this ritual to assist in better understanding the power to summon the demon lords. I have also located potential sources for all of these components. And don't worry guys, I will post a list of all this.
Thank you.
Don't worry about that part.
Considering your position, and considering Grant's position, if we see him, I assume you don't want us speaking of this plan at all?
If you see Gromf.
Yes?
Let me tell you, friend, he has disappeared. After he cast this ritual, he fled to the wind. He's gone. No one has seen him since.
And yeah, remembering, I think we tried to look at Grumph in the library and it just came up blank.
You got that one ritual from him doing the deed, but that was clearly
Yeah,
not present.
yeah. Uh, just thinking at that. Would you mind if I talked with my companions here?
Very well, but just as a professional courtesy, I ask all of you not to divulge yourselves through my books or belongings while I leave the room.
Oh, of course.
He nods and actually does leave the room and close the door behind him. You are alone.
Look around for real quick, see if I can just see any sensors. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to, not with a naked eye,
No,
but
not in this kind of place, unfortunately. There's just too much. Like, there are 8 different things that radiate, like, divination things. You could not tell if they are sensors
or just
listening in or not.
right. Rogi, whenever you saw the ritual, what did the room that it took place in look like? Was it a study of some sort, or
I don't remember what it was, Dan.
Yeah.
But what? No,
Alright.
it was like a city, right?
No, it was like I think it was like a study. Hold
Was
on.
it-
I'll send it to you again.
yeah,
Okay.
I know where it took place, but I'm trying to get that information to my character.
Whatever that describes, that's what you got. That's what I read to you.
Yeah, that actually doesn't say where it took place at all.
Okay. He put emphasis on that the demons would return back to the point that they were coalesced at. And
I know it was in Menzo Peranza, and I know that it was inside, and that is about all I know.
okay, and he's trying to get the demons inside Menzo Baranzan again. Is he hoping that it will just kill the Lothite group? Like, he's... My friends, I have bad news. This is a political act that will solve our problem in the worst way possible.
I
Well-
hate politics.
Well, probably not the worst way possible for any of you. I doubt any of you have fond memories of Menzo Baranzan. But still.
None. No, none.
The point of all of this is to make sure the Underdark doesn't fall to corruption. And here he is making one of the most inhabited cities in the entirety of the Underdark a martyr for destroying the problem.
Is no one gonna bring up the alternative? Frankie?
Huh?
I was say like, is no one gonna bring up the alternative?
What's the alternative?
Destroy the Mentor Brenton, save the world.
I mean, what's his audience right now?
I'm just saying. Frankie's not gonna give a shit if Menzo Brenton fucking burns.
I don't think
His
I have
home
that
is gonna be nice and safe, and the
I
world will be saved.
I don't think I have that many greater invisibilities.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Listen, whatever you think of Menzo Baranzan, and I know you do think unkind things about the city, and let me tell you, it has not always been kind to me as well, but it is the focal point of underdark culture. The Drow may rule it, the Drow may have built it, but all cultures benefit from its existence. So this will not just hurt us Drow, it will hurt the Duragar as much as they hate us. It will hurt the Sniflerflin, despite us being at war with them. The Drow are the lockstone for everything down here. And if we lose...
Also, it seems fairly unnecessary to perform the ritual in Menzoberranzan.
Well, that's where it's going to direct them regardless. So...
How else can we do the ritual then?
Maybe I can change it. Maybe I can alter it somehow. He's talking about things that I've never even had to consider before, so...
Well, the Menzoberranzan's just bait, right?
The way he phrased it, it sounded like the demons will return to where they entered. Unless... And the only reason he would give us that information is if we had no other alternative.
But we do.
What? What do we do besides that?
We're not going to discuss it within his tower. But you remember what we obtained in the library.
Yes, but...
Bait.
Sure, but... It's bait for his ritual. And... I'm not there yet. If we can find Grumph, maybe, but if he's telling the truth, he's gone. And we can't find him if he doesn't want to be found.
Keyluther shrugs. Who says Grumph isn't already watching over our progress? Maybe he'll pop out of the... wherever he's hiding and decide to show up and help. On one hand, I see no problems with going through this plan. I mean, it's going to take forever to gather all of these materials for him. Anyways, there's no reason why we can't go along with this, gather materials, and try and think of a way that doesn't involve destroying an entire city, Menzoberranzan or other. Because, while I would like to save this world, I don't want to live the rest of my life in it as a war criminal. Despite popular opinion of my character. It'd be rather inconvenient to be hated.
Keeluth breaking the fourth wall.
Keelu's listening to what people say whenever they're camped.
True.
I hear he's a criminal on the outs of Menzoberranzan. That's the only reason he's helping folks like us. But just...
Does anyone else have opinions on this whole, ritual you will have to do and destroy a drow city?
Does anybody want to sell... Maybe we have to destroy the city. Maybe we must burn the future for the sake of the present.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, what if it is the only way?
If it's the only way, then it's the only way. Then Menzoberranzan will be destroyed regardless.
Well,
if we do anything or not.
I don't... Maybe it'll just be weakened. That might as well be a death sentence. Trying to justify it to himself, but...
There's no reason why we can't evacuate the people. I'm sure the matrons will... at least... attempt to save their own houses while they... try and prevent the others from evacuating.
Maybe when we try to retrieve Grom's notes, which, if he didn't take with him, would still be at Sorcerer. Maybe Menzoberranzan isn't in a great state already, and... What am I saying?
It's not going to change much to destroy it, is what you're saying.
He just shakes his head. he doesn't like any of this. And he's kind of like, you know, his opinion on like women and gender roles in his society. Talking to a guy is just like, what if the church was destroyed a little bit and we weren't under their thumb? Is just like icing on the cake of like, how do we worm out of this? How do we squirm out of this?
So is there anything more to discuss?
Not that I think of.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much at a standstill right now, unless
We'll
someone else
just
has
go
something
along
else
with
to
the
bring up.
plan and see if we have any other options come to us.
Yes.
I feel
Alright.
I feel bad about wearing the Pawafui already.
Feel bad about wearing this badass magic item.
It's made by a man who wants to destroy everything that's good about the Underdark.
Did we all get one of those cloaks by the
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
All of you,
What's
and an
that?
amulet that has protection from fiends.
Yeah, I got that down. I didn't know
Yeah,
if there was
but
that
you all
cloak.
have a drow Pawafui.
Wow.
So does anyone in particular go to the door and reopen it?
I don't wanna.
Okay, I'll ask again. Does anyone want to go up to the door?
Keyleth will.
Okay. Keyleth opens the door, and you see Vizeran sitting out there, speaking to a younger drow man, dressed up in also like very wizardly robes. And he goes, "Ah, Keyleth, yes. This here is Green O'Steele, my apprentice. I assume you guys are all done?
We've come to a decision, yes.
Good. For the formatter, if you choose to go through with this plan, Green here will be helping you when I am not here at the tower."
Keyleth nods.
He kind of nods to Green, nods to you. Green kind of walks away. And he walks into the room, goes opposite of your group, folds his hands together. So, what decision has this become?
We shall go through with this plan and attempt to gather whatever items we can.
He nods. No doubt, I'm sure you will all find that this is the best way to stop this apocalyptic threat we all face. So where would you like to start?
I'm curious if you know where 6 angel feathers can be found.
You would be surprised, but I think I do.
They wouldn't happen to be in a collection underneath a dwarf's bed somewhere, right?
They are in a collection. Unfortunately, not something so comfortable as a dwarven bed. Give me one moment to actually find where it is. I think I know where it is. It is in the labyrinth. A section of the Underdark. Very old. It holds many secrets. But I've heard rumor of a gathering of angels there. Angels that were punished and turned to stone. Who knows how many thousands of years ago. Fully conscious, by the way. Trapped in a body of stone.
The spell requires angel feathers, not stoned angel feathers, I'm assuming, though, correct?
You are correct, but in this case, since they are still alive, and this is just their new body, unable to move, they are angel feathers.
Okay.
Now, to start, I would say with something a little closer, like the things in the worm writhings that I know of. Such as, I hear there's a beholder in there. Nasty tyrant.
I've lost track. How close to the worm writhings are we?
Oh, still several miles, but at least you only have to go west instead of very, very far southwest.
Beholder shouldn't be too much work. They're
Not to mention, it's called the worm writhings for a reason.
or the egg, yes.
Purple worms, correct. Now, other things such as the devil's mushrooms, I won't know much about how to get that except through happenstance. Same with the heart of a goristro. God forbid, I don't know how you're going to manage to get a few drops of blood, or ichor, or even just a whole body part of a demon lord, but unfortunately that is necessary, and I will leave it up to you. I would recommend leaving Grump's grimoires and notes for last. It'll be a different kind of problem, and one more political than we might have the ability to deal with.
Well, the mushrooms will be easy to get.
Oh, really?
Well, yes, I am an expert in these things, and I have a way of just locating where they are. We just need to figure out whether there are
Well,
demons around.
tip masks do just grow naturally. That's not the problem. These ones are sprouted from the footprints of a Merilith, a Baelor, or a Goristro.
Seen a lot of demons wandering around already, so I'm sure it will not be that difficult.
And I hope so.
Maybe,
For all of our sakes.
maybe we can find a Goristro and, while we're tearing out its heart, get it to walk a few 100 miles.
I'll say, Rogi, you know right now, a few 100 miles is not necessary.
I don't know how
Foot-
frequently these things
footst-
grow. Is every footstep
footstep-
filled with mushrooms?
Footstep per mushroom ratio, typically not that bad.
Alright, fine.
Rogi would know this.
Rogi knows the foot to mushroom ratio.
He
He
knows
memorized it. He's
He
watched
does
it.
so many things, but this is one of them.
it. I'm so happy you guys have a mushroom expert on this part of the quest.
It's very important.
It's very important.
Do they always create mushrooms whenever they step, or is it only under certain conditions? That's my problem.
Look, only Rogi could tell you
Depends on
this.
how they feel when they take the step.
That's
They
right.
have to be really, really angry, but usually demons are angry almost all the time, so it is not an issue.
So
We'll
it's like
just-
an extra level of angry.
The worst thing that we have to do then is just not let it kill us immediately, and then it'll be super pissed because it just wants us dead. God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vizeran DeVir kind of looks at you all and goes, "Are you prepared?"
Just shit. Like, man. Every part of this sucks a little bit. But, yeah.
Well, you are reaching apocalyptic level of problems, so
Let's go kill a purple worm or a beholder or whatever. We have a small group outside. What do you want us to do with them? Are you comfortable with us having a campsite right outside the little entrance to this place?
I'm not going to say no, but they are not allowed to enter the tower, or I will say even get close to it.
Alright.
I don't want some lesser creatures wandering around like rats.
Oh, and where's the closest patch of mushrooms large enough for that one to transport us through?
Bunch of mushrooms.
You
I
can,
don't know. You'll have to figure that out amongst yourselves. To be honest,
you not look around outside?
why would I?
It's the most wizard answer ever. Why would I look outside?
I like to imagine that Gundra only asked that question because he's been an adventurer this whole time. It has come to that realization that you should look around your surroundings.
Like, understand them. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas probably before this adventure, he would probably have answered the same way. Like, why would I look around?
That's someone
I have
else's
people for
job.
that. Yeah, that's someone else's job. Having been on his own with like a group of like 4 other people, has he finally kind of got to around to the idea of looking first?
Yeah.
Exploration
Turns out
is
it'll
a
save your
wonderful
life.
thing.
Keyleth, I'm
Anyways,
going to go tell our entourage the boundaries of their staying here, and also see if they can find a plant for us to transport through. Get the more precise locations, and make sure we know where we're going.
Keyleth just nods.
Want to go outside
Alright.
and tell them, don't fucking touch the tower, don't go near it. Also, find a mushroom big enough for us
Yeah.
to transport through.
Alright, a mushroom pet. Yeah, but Keith, I'll say for the sake of brevity, like, yeah, Gromf tells you vague
Gromf?
location. Or,
Gromf?
you know what I mean. I read the word and I was talking. Vizeran explains the same thing where he tells you vaguely the same, like where the locations of each item are vaguely within the Underdark, giving you a better idea of where to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, 5 miles from this, 8 miles from that point, 17 miles from this diagonal, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving you a weird idea. And then,
An
with that,
approximation.
just very vague approximations, as you usually do in the Underdark, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you
you
have
can't really...
a precise path labeled out, and it's only like 4 miles or something, it's
Right.
vague. It's vagueness. It's all it is.
It's 13 miles from this, but maybe 18 miles from that. Good luck. But he gives you a better understanding. You vaguely know where you need to go. But you guys have new gear. You have your team built together, and you have your final quest. And I'll say with that, we'll end tonight's session.
Okay.
Woo.